Hello and welcome to Synder Tutorials. Today we're going to be exploring how new Synder's Auto Reconciliation Report can help you reconcile deferred revenue in Synder Revenue Recognition module. First of all, make sure you have the Revenue Recognition module enabled. Here's how it might look. I have all of my subscriptions here. They've been generated and processed, and I have synced over all of the transactions from my Revenue Recognition module to my books. In my case, it is QuickBooks. How would I usually reconcile what's happening? I would go to my reports, balances overview report, and I would see the ending balance of deferred revenue. And I would compare these numbers of ending balances against the numbers I have in my balance sheet under deferred revenue to see if they are the same. And they are in this case, so all is good. But if for whatever reason the amounts would not match, I would need to go into any specific months that causes the discrepancy, and I would need to download the report to Excel from here, and I would need to get back to Synder and also download itemized report from here, and I would need to download recognized revenue by entry reports by here. I would get them to my email, and I would need to cross-reference these three reports against each other. So QuickBooks' report that gives me the IDs and the amounts with the recognized revenue report amounts, and itemized report with transactions amounts. And that's the way how I find the difference. How can the reconciliation report help me with this? You can launch it from Revenue Recognition Reporting, and here under the report you see Auto Reconciliation Report. Here you can start reconciliation, select your deferred revenue account from your accounting, as well as select the starting period, which may not go back before your REVREC start date. Once you've selected it all, just click select, and the report will start running and comparing periods for you. It did compare these amounts for me automatically from my accounting and from my revenue recognition modules. So basically it compared these same amounts that I have here to my QuickBooks balance sheet. And right away, if there's a difference, it highlighted that the difference exists for this specific month. For me, February is my current month. For you, you see your current months after you refresh data. You will 100% see it as partially matched, and you will see the difference here. Why so? Because for February, you see that the expected new revenue, so expected journal entries, would be generated for this amount, but they will be generated at the end of the month. So as of today, the 2nd of February, I have this same difference here kind of sitting and waiting for the journal entries to be synchronized over to my QuickBooks. For current months, you will always see the discrepancy. For other months, if all is fine, all is fine. But let's imagine that somewhere in December, you have an issue. So let's go and roll back any of the December's transactions. So let me roll back this one. So now it's not in my books. And let me do a few more adjustments here to show you more use cases. So for December here, let's say for this invoice, for whatever reason, the synced amount was not correct, or it was manually adjusted, let's say, the way I'm doing it now. So let's say instead of $19.99, it is $19 sharp. And let's say as well that I've manually created an adjustment in December I've manually created an adjustment like that. If I go and refresh data since December, the app is going to highlight to me all of those issues that I've just created. Basically, right now, it is taking the new totals from both of the reports, and it's seeing that there is a difference. So now it's retrieving data from both RevRec module and accounting, which is my QuickBooks, basically downloading these same three reports, and it cross-references them for me by IDs, by these numbers that I get synced over. So it's important to understand that if, for example, two lines here have the same IDs, so they will be joined into one single line with the total of these amounts. And the same will be done with all of the reports. And then once you have like the unique correspondence of single ID, single total, so the QuickBooks amount is compared to the amounts gathered from revenue recognition. Retrieving my data, it compared it, and it gives me difference here. The first thing I want you to look at here is this. I only have issues here in December. My January is 100% correct, and the app was able to match every single transaction. So if I go in and see nothing under unmatched, I see everything here under matched. So the app was able to match everything, and it shows me the status, hence matched. But because it's a balance sheet and balance sheet carries over the issues from the previous months, I still see here the difference, even though my January is okay. So you always look at the first months that causing the initial difference. So that will be the months you want to look at. So for example, here I can see the two different amounts coming from my revenue recognition module and from my accounting. And I can see that it's partially matched. So there is some difference inside. For one, $69. And I can see inside all of the three transactions causing it. So first of all, the app can match the transaction either ideally by finding the perfect match, or by finding the match by IDs, but the amounts are different, or just the app was not able to find a match by ID. Here we can see this second situation where the app was able to match the transaction by ID, so it exists, it was synced over, but the totals of the transaction for some reason do not match. And you see it shows me the difference of 99 cents right away. Here, moving on, it was not able to even find this transaction because you remember I rolled it back. I deleted it from my QuickBooks. So there's nothing in QuickBooks, nothing in my accounting. Third one is vice versa situation. So I have something in my QuickBooks that I've entered manually, but it's not in my RevRec module. Sum of all these three amounts equals the issue that I get here. So basically, once I remedy all the three ones, basically the report will be fine. So I need to delete this adjustment. I need to find out where's this transaction and why wasn't it synced. And the safest way to do it is to search by the subscription ID, because then you can find everything that relates to the subscription. And I can go here and find only the transactions relating to the subscription. I can see that this one's deleted. So I can sync it over so that it does not cause any difference. Or if you need, you can also go to subscriptions and find this specific subscription by the same ID and see what is inside of it, how the schedule looks, what the transactions and if they were synchronized, and what are the journal entries and if they were synchronized. You can see that this one's showing you that it's deleted. So you can right away from here go and sync it over as well. Go to sync log and sync it over from the sync log. These are your two ways to kind of investigate what happens with these transactions. And this third one, I can copy this transaction number. I can go to my QuickBooks and actually find it under my QuickBooks file to remedy this. So this way I can fix all of the three transactions and fix my report. Obviously I can search by some IDs here as well. So this way it kind of makes it easier to navigate if I have a lot of entries here. And under Matched tab, I see everything that was perfectly matched, both by IDs and by totals. So this way you can understand what's happening inside of the report. And you can download both the source files, which actually will be these three files, just the combination of those. You can download them from the platforms manually, but it's a one-click download of all three. And this way you can investigate what was this data. Was it in one report? Was it not? So you can do that. Or you can download the results. So this is downloading all matched transaction. This one's downloading all the not matched transaction. Or you can download all of them at once. So if you have a lot of records, it will be easier to navigate for you, maybe in Excel, rather than on interface. In case you ever change your deferred revenue account to something else, you can also change the account here in this dropdown. Important thing to understand that Synder works with one account at a time. If you change the account to a new one, you won't see this history anymore. So you will just compare your new account. That is it, against the same data from revenue recognition. And another use case, which is basically the most common reason why this report is not showing the right data, is when you have multiple accounts representing your deferred revenue. It is okay to manage your deferred revenue under multiple accounts. You can do that, but in order to then utilize this report on top of that, you need to make sure that all of these accounts are sub-accounts of one single parent account. And here in the dropdown, you have to select the parent account, not the sub-accounts, because the parent account will have all of the data under all of the sub-accounts. And this way you will be able to still reconcile using this report. rather than manually downloading info from multiple accounts. In case you have many accounts for your deferred revenue that are not linked under any parent account, this report will not be usable for you because it only works with one single account from QuickBooks. And if you ever have any questions or issues of why wasn't something matched, or I was supposed to have one account, why is it still not matching, the easiest way to check it would be to go to your configurations. And under configurations, check your plan mapping. If you have multiple Stripe accounts or multiple Excels, check it for every single account. So look here, you're supposed to have your deferred revenue account. So this account is just taken from your QuickBooks. You see, it's not editable because you can't edit it in Synder. You have to go to your QuickBooks, find this product, like in my case, it's RevRec test product. And in QuickBooks, you can fix this account if it's saying something apart from deferred revenues. If you don't see any other options here in this drop down, if let's say you do change it to something else, now this is your deferred revenue account, you will see both of them here. And if you have many of those, you will see many of those here. So that means that the report will not work for you properly. So the most important thing, if you see something like this, is to find exactly which products are mapped to the wrong accounts, go to your QuickBooks and fix the product. Or just remap it here to the right one. Like in my case, that would be the right one because it has deferred revenue. That means that this product from Stripe will be transferred over to your QuickBooks under this product. Or if you still think that this is the right product for you to use, make sure it has the right deferred revenue account because it's supposed to be a liability deferred revenue account. And you specifically have to see one single account here or multiple accounts that are sub accounts of one single account again, and then you will select the parent account in the report. So if you want this report to work, make sure your mapping is correct. And last but not least, let's speak about the statuses. You can learn more about them here in the guideline, but I want to guide you through those. We've seen the statuses that are inside of the report, but here you can see also multiple options. So you can see partially matched in case Synder was able to match only part of the data, the other part is not matched. You can see just green matched, which means that Synder matched 100% of the information that exists in this period as it did here. So we can see nothing under not matched. Everything was successfully matched or partially matched, right? Another status you may see here is not matched, is when Synder was not able to match a single transaction. Why it might happen? It might happen if you're using QuickBooks document number setting, which means that QuickBooks overrides the numbers of all of the transactions that Synder syncs over, which means that matching by IDs simply does not work. It does not happening. So you will see all of the transactions here, but they will not be matched. You can still maybe use this report to compare your totals or to download all the 3 reports at once and do the comparison, but the report by default will not work for you properly just because of the transaction numbers. It will be different because in your accounting, QuickBooks will numerate them on its own. So that's another important thing to keep in mind. And in case something was changed in revenue recognition or in your accounting, for example, you manually deleted something, the app once a day kind of checks the numbers, the overall numbers of the report. And if it sees that the number got changed, you will see here the status outdated, which kind of indicates this number that we retrieved the last time on this last updated date is no longer valid. So this amount is outdated, or this amount is outdated, and you need to actually refresh data since that period. Look closely at the outdated status as well, because it indicates that some information is no longer correct. So yeah, hope now reconciliation will be a breeze for you.